Hello again, folks. Part 2 of the progress on doing a soft restoration on this circa 1928 Beatty Wringer washing machine. Today got quite a bit done. A little update on the wringer assembly. So I've got the gearbox packed full of grease, new grease, and I forgot, and I do apologize for this, I forgot to get or start the video showing the gears, but I did take a still shot of it. So I'll see if somehow I can include that with this video when I edit it. Anyway, once again, I do apologize because it would have been nice to have shown you all the gears once they were cleaned up. Of course, you saw them when they were all gunked up with old grease. So that's awaiting a weld job on the tension release lever, which goes right here. So once that's welded on, then I can reassemble the whole wringer and it's basically done. Oh, I got the drain plate hammered out. As I mentioned, the museum has, let's see, one, two, I think a total of 4, or it might be 5 Beatty washing machines. Actually, it is 5. We have one with an old wooden tub, believe it or not, and then 4 others that are more modern, slightly more modern. They all basically have the same drain plate, and this one was in really rough shape, all bent up. So I pounded it out and crimped it and bent it back into shape, so it'll work. Did a little bit of sanding. As I may have mentioned earlier, this is a mechanical restoration. This is not a cosmetic restoration because this machine goes on our float wagon. So every May Day, we have a parade, and this is on the float wagon, and it's run off of a generator. And the May Day parade is usually the weekend of the 24th around that. It's the long weekend in Canada anyway, Victoria Day long weekend. Now on to the gearbox. So Beatty always has the gears up top and an oil pan underneath. And this again is totally different than Maytag's, where Maytag the gears sit in the bottom of the gear case in an oil bath, or grease actually, with the Maytag, which to me makes a lot more sense. This uses gear oil rather than grease, and it has a little, what I call a splasher gear. So if you can see it right here, this, my need of a cameraman is apparent. So this little splasher gear sits in the oil and literally splashes it up into the worm gear and the screw, the worm there you can see. So if you get low on oil, it's pretty crucial. I think it makes much more sense like Maytag has it sitting in an oil bath. Anyway, that's Beatty's way of doing it, or was Beatty's way of doing it. This is the shaft, of course, to the motor. And there you have the rack and the pinion. And up top is the clutch mechanism that I showed you previously. So there's a good view of the clutch, how it works. Putting those 2 pins down into the disc, which oscillates and produces the agitation. So everything actually looks in pretty good shape, in spite of there being almost no oil. Fortunately, there was grease in around the worm gear. So I think that's about it. The next process is I'll clean up the oil pan, and then we'll refill it with gear oil, and I'll do a little greasing around the clutch, and that's about it. That's it for now anyway. Stay tuned for part 3 when everything gets put back together. Thanks for watching. Here's just a quick addition to the earlier segment of part 2. I never showed this side of the gearing mechanism. So there is the worm gear, which of course drives the wringer, and then the rack or pitman arm there, and of course the rack's on the other side. There's a good view of the clutch now, and an oiler port. And let's just move around here, and you'll see there's the pinion, of course, and then I showed you earlier the rack on that side. So await part 3 when everything gets put back together.